Well, Ken, where did your involvement in harness racing begin?
Well, it began in Canada. I'm from Ontario, Canada, originally from Toronto, and started off as a racing fan. I grew up very close to Greenwood Racetrack, which is now just a teletheater and a bunch of condos, now defunct Greenwood, and went to a lot of the small tracks and in the large tracks in Ontario. Took an interest as a fan and took it a few steps further. Introduced myself to announcers there. I went to broadcasting school and in college, broadcasting and television, and I just kind of meandered my way and followed my nose, as they say, and this is where I ended up. I ended up working at racetracks.
And so when did you start working here at the Meadowlands?
1990. So I worked at one track in Ohio for a year after working 8 years at a track in Canada called Flamborough Downs. And this job just happened to come open. So.
Is it a job that you've always wanted to be? Has it always been the Meadowlands for you?
Well, in this particular industry, like harness racing, not so much thoroughbred or horse racing, but in harness racing, the Meadowlands was always the goal. It's the top of the heap. And I used to sit in my little apartment there in Ontario and watch races and tapes of racing shows and races here. And I always admired the great Tom Durkin, the voice of New York racing now, who worked here, who left here, and things kind of shuffled around, and that's ultimately how I got this job. I auditioned for it, came here and worked a couple days, and I was lucky enough, fortunate enough. I mean, it's impossible to get this job. And I knew at the time there were people out there that were as good or maybe even better than me, but things just worked out.
It's a public job. You're in the public eye, in front of the punters all of the time. As a race announcer and commentator, what is the most challenging part of your job?
I think just being, I don't know if it's challenging. I just think that you have to be professional at all times, and your integrity is under the microscope here. That's the first thing I noticed when I started here back in the early 90s, was the kind of hang on every word you say. So you just got to do your research, do due diligence, do justice to what your work's all about, do the research, do the homework, and be prepared. And I think if you repeatedly do that, and you have to treat every night that you work like it's an audition, because people don't care that you picked 6 winners 2 weeks ago or on March 26th. It's 2 months from now, and people want to. It's all about tomorrow. It's all about tonight. Who do you like tonight? That's the biggest saying at the racetrack. Who do you like? And they don't necessarily want to know why you like the horse. They just want to know, who you like. They want an opinion. And they respect a researched and an opinion with credibility. And if you prove that over and over and over again, and you give it due diligence, people respect that here. Yeah.
Where does your job satisfaction come from?
I think any job where you're performing, you're doing something, you're producing something out of nothing. Like an actor will tell you this, an artist will tell you this, and it is a bit of an art to call the races, to describe what you're seeing, and to commentate on things. I think that's where you gain a lot of great satisfaction, especially if you've put the work in, and you do justice to it. And that, to me, calling the races is the greatest joy I have. I mean, it's exhilarating, and it's living without a net. It's live action, and you make mistakes periodically. We're not machines, but once in a while, and you're always trying to mold that piece of clay. There's always a way you could have done it better, and described the action better, and you're always working at it. There's never, maybe tomorrow we'll have the perfect race call, but then again, maybe they're all perfect in their own way. I don't know, There's always, as long as you don't get too big of an ego, that's the big thing. You can't get ahead of yourself. And but back to that, that's where I get the satisfaction is creating and doing the races and even putting the videos together and helping out with the TV production here. It's a lot of fun. You're creating things.
You're clearly very passionate. And what would you use? One word to sum up Ken Warkentin?
Nutcase. No. The great thing is we have fun here, and I think that's the great thing about this job is, I was telling you before, you really did. I didn't have to grow up and work in a corporate environment, I could still have fun and be a little bit of a crazy Canuck as I am, and joke around and kibitz and have fun. But when it comes time to work, we bear down and do the job. And I think that I keep saying the word fun, but it really is. It's fun and professional. And the moment you become that stodgy, stuck in the mud, wallowing, miserable old coot, then I think it's time to leave. It's time to go or move on to something else because you're bringing other people down, and that's something I dwell on. That's something I concentrate on, trying to stay upbeat. Because if I don't, my wife's going to kill me, right? So you got to be happy, okay? Be happy.
Well, Ken, thank you so much for your time. You and your family and everyone here, they've been amazing support to me and very welcoming. We really appreciate your help and everything you've done, and hopefully we can see you down in New Zealand sometime.
Absolutely. I'd love to come. Somebody told me the climate there is ideal. And it's a wonderful place. Obviously, with the internet, you can research and see a lot of things all over the world. But the racing, from what I hear, is great. People are just as passionate, if not more, there about the sport itself, and that's what we're passionate about: the sport itself. We enjoy good racing and good performances by horses and drivers, and we're just very, very fortunate to be here. So, and stay fun, right? It's got to be fun. Because if it isn't fun, go home, right? There you go.
Thank you very much for your time, Ken.
Anytime, anytime.